Oh yeah, boys.
I think I'd rather go to a Blink 182 concert instead. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
you ain't gonna put, I can't even swim, let
Like,
alone doing anything like that.
like boys,
I
if
know.
I ever become a billionaire and I tell y'all that I am getting on someone's makeshift submersible with zero safety standards and they're bolting the outside, talk me out of it.
Yeah.
That's all. And if I see that their controller is a Logitech that has terrible reviews, yeah. Yeah, let me know. I want something that plugs in.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 344 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. 344, Mike.
That's insane from what started in a kitchen.
Yes, which the
Dining room slash kitchen.
The two-year date is coming up really soon.
It is too. It's fast.
Because I started keeping track once we started getting the equipment and buying the equipment, not necessarily when we started the show. In July 1st will be the official 2-year mark for the show. So,
oh Lord,
we're only a little over a week away, man.
Oh God, I was hoping to take that week off.
Nah.
Anniversary week, take a week
with
off.
The jokes with you, man. What's going on? What's good? Good morning. Good morning, Derpy? What's good, man?
Nothing much.
No, not too much. No, nothing good here either. Anyway,
nothing happened yesterday in sports. Definitely,
there really is nothing. It's been slow. I've been digging at I've been scraping the barrel here the past couple of days. We do got a few things here this morning. I see they revealed the Pittsburgh Pirates City Connect jersey.
They look all right.
Just in time for the free fall.
Mid.
And they
right in the middle of a 9-game losing streak.
Right in the middle of the 9, no better time. They couldn't have released it back in April. They couldn't have released it. Here we are
during the collapse.
We are on the. This is the free fall that I was thinking, guys. It came a little later than I was thinking, but this is it. This is it.
This might be it. I might be with you on this.
9-game losing. So you come into 3 series against division teams that aren't that good. Come on, guys. They're not that good. Chicago, the Brewers, and then Chicago again. They lose all 9 of those games. All 9 of those games. That's worse than that's the worst. This team is worse than the A's. They really are. If that A's team doesn't finish ahead of us this year, I'll be very surprised.
No, I think we're still going to do better than the A's. But my God, we're about to be in last place here. I give it 3 weeks when we were in last place.
Mike, listen, this team, it wasn't that they just lost all 9 games. They lost. Okay, let's look at this last series for an example, this Cubs series that we've already just played them. So, I mean, you get a better idea the second time around. You should probably perform a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
They got outscored 20-3 in these last 3 games against the Cubs. 20-3. 20-3.
I know.
Wow, in the middle of
it
isn't like they're losing games. They're just getting squeaked out and losing like a 2-1, maybe extra innings. It is nothing but pure domination. This team is not showing up. This is the worst Pirates team right now, maybe that I've seen my whole life. And I'm not even shitting you. You may have seen this on Twitter, Mike, but get this here for the people that didn't see this. Get this: Jack Sawinski, Rodolfo Castro, G1 Bay, Carlos Santana, Austin Hedges, and Henry Davis. Okay, think of those 6 names I just gave you, are combined 1 for 76.
Oh, that's not good.
With a .013
yes, I saw that one. Yeah,
average.
That is bad. That is bad.
This is the meat. You got Jack, you got Davis, you got Santana, and then not so much the big hitters. You got Bay and Castro. And then Hedges at the bottom, 1 for 76 with a .013. This is the worst that I've seen a Pittsburgh Pirates team play in my life. This is the worst. This is unbelievable because the stuff that we've seen in the first month of the year was some of the best stuff I've seen the Pirates do in my life.
Yeah, now they can't do anything.
It sounds like the Penguins.
No, this is worse than what the Penguins did. At least the Penguins, the stars were producing, and it was like everyone else not doing anything. This is bad. Like you said, this might I agree. This might be one of the worst Pirate teams I've ever seen play, and we've seen a lot of bad Pirates teams over
Oh
the years.
yeah,
It
it
this
doesn't
like you
even
know
look like
there's
these
at least
grown men that are
mhm.
getting paid a lot to do this job that they love aren't even they're not even trying.
They can't even do the simple things right. I understand, you go
They're
into
on
a
the
slump.
majors too. That's what's funny.
Yeah, and they're
Exactly.
worried about bringing minor league guys up because they can't develop. What about these major guys? These guys are terrible.
Yeah, like this would be different if they didn't start out the way they did. People, like I said, I expected a drop off from some of these performances, but not this. This was a precipitous drop off from
This
everyone
yeah,
involved. For people like even who
this
have a
is
track record, like Kutch,
throwing in the
his stuff
towel.
has dropped off. Reynolds, Big Sex, he dropped off big time. There's no bright spot right now. Like Hayes had a nice little run there where he figured something out at the plate, but now he can't figure anything out. He can't hit anything. It's 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 actually quite comical.
Is this even possible? Have you, Derby? Let me ask you. You're outside of the National League. You pay attention to other things. Jack Sawinski, Castro, Bay, Santana, Hedges, Davis are combined for 1 for 76. Is this?
Jeez.
I mean, come on. Again, these are major league baseball players who hit baseballs for a living and make millions of dollars doing it. How is this even possible? You aren't always playing the dominant pitcher from the other team. Okay, maybe you get Marcus Stroman here, maybe you get this guy there, but there's through the course of the game you're playing relievers and this and that. And again, this is Chicago and Milwaukee. This isn't Tampa Bay and the Yankees. This is embarrassing. I would be embarrassed if I was this team.
But they show no signs of that. Like Austin Hedges, when he was being booed, he was like, "Oh, I think this is the first time it ever happened to me. I don't know why it's happening."
He is oblivious. This guy.
He's oblivious. The whole team's oblivious from top to bottom. You're like, I feel sorry for Kutch.
Yeah,
but at the same time, you're like, you knew what you're signing up for when you came back here. At the same,
six guys. That is
I know it's terrible. It is terrible,
and that's not including your pitcher because your pitcher don't hit. If your pitcher was in this and made this number a little, that would make sense.
You can justify that, but there's the DH now. This is
3 through 9 basically. This is everybody with the exception of the first two batters of the game.
Baseball Jesus was caught up. A lot of fans thought he would solve a lot of issues. He has one hit. It's bad. It's bad from top to bottom. Speaking of Henry Davis, I'm not meaning to pile on the kid. He just got caught up. I was reading online that there were scouting reports. If he was playing, going to be just a right fielder, he would be a 4th round pick. The appeal was him being a catcher. Was a catcher, and then naturally, we play him out of position.
And that's another thing I wanted to say about Hedges. I'm not veering away from what you're saying. This is just playing into it. Hedges now, he's in the dugout, and they got Delay playing catcher, and Hedges in the dugout, and then Davis is on right field. They bring Davis, and come on, these guys aren't stupid. They open up their phone at least some point during their fucking day and look at what's going on. And obviously they brought Davis up because they do want him to be the catcher ultimately. And here's Hedges. He's just smiling away in the dugout, joking around with the guy. I would be so paranoid right now that I was going to be the guy that was the first, show out of town, whatever the next move they could do with this guys. He's in there joking around with guys and having fun. This team, nobody should be in this dugout smiling.
No, like if anything, he should be sitting down with Davis, teaching him during the game. It's not his job, but be a mentor, knowing that, hey, I'm not going to be here. I'm probably not going to be here long, but I don't know. He's a bum. All the catchers are bums. Just put Davis back there. Let him learn on the job. Your internal projection said you're going to be a 4th place team anyway, and you're happy about that. So let him go out there. Let the kids learn on their own. Let them learn out there. Let him fail. He can learn by failing. That's how you learn. You learn by making mistakes.
Again, as you made a point last week, Mike, as far as hitting, at least you fail most of the time. That's in the it's what it is.
Yeah, and like
nobody not fails, because if you even consider failing as 500 and lower,
that's
everybody's better than that. Everybody fails.
Yeah.
It's
the greatest hitter of all time was Ted Williams, and he batted 400, and he still failed 6 out of 10 times. So, but
it's a hard sport.
Yeah, let Davis learn behind the plate. Oh my God, no, his pitch framing isn't.
Oh,
I don't care.
One
You know,
for
it
76.
mattered. It mattered when Russell Martin was here because Russell Martin could play. Russell Martin could hit, and that was like an added value of his pitch framing. And that, you know, we were rocking and rolling. We were winning with that. He was helping us win games with that, but also with his bat. He was not a liability. He wasn't a liability defensively either. No, Hedges, you know, runners are what 60 and 68 against us in stolen base attempts. So don't tell me Hedges is back there being a pickoff artist. He's not. There's no reason he should be in the lineup. Just get rid of this guy. DFA him, get him off the books. He brings nothing. Run with DeLay, run with Davis. And, you know, if Davis fails, okay, he's learning at least. You know, we drafted him number 1 overall for a reason. Put him in there.
And this guy that we got back there, he's a veteran and he stinks.
He can't do
there's no more
anything.
learning. He's hit the ceiling.
Yeah, I'd rather have my number 1 prospect back there every day, day in, day out, going up against major league batters, you know, calling a game behind home plate. Give him that experience now because this is a lost season. You're already projected that you're gonna not do anything anyway. Why not play the game?
Choi is making rehab. He's playing rehab baseball. So soon we should have him back in the lineup.
There we go. That's going to win us, you know.
I mean, he can hit. He's a power hitter. He probably I can't even say that, but he would be up there if he was in there in home runs. I would think at the beginning of the year he was. He remember that one game was really special at the beginning of the year. Him and I think maybe it was Joe. They both hit one out in the same game.
Yeah.
It was the 2 Korean guys, first time ever. I think if Choi was in the lineup, that would be a little bit better. But you know, and then we got possibly O'Neal Cruz coming back with, you know, maybe a month left in the season. At that point, I say, why even risk it with him anymore?
Yeah,
you know,
sit him down. Just don't let him play.
have him come back and fuck up his ankle or his leg again and have bigger
Exactly.
problems. You know, I mean, at this point, this is what the standings look like as of right now, guys. The Reds, they win again. They're in first place. The Brewers lost. They're 1.5 games out. They're in second place. The Cubs are 3.5 games out. In third place, the Pirates are 5 games out. In fifth place, in fourth place in the Cubs, of course, are 9 games. Cardinals are 9 games.
Oh yeah. This team,
Mike, was 12 games over 500 at one point. Now sitting at 34 and 39. The Cubs are up to 36 and 38, and you got to remember they were back. The Reds were back.
Reds 11-game win streak, man.
The Pirates and the Brewers just sat, you know, they jerked each other off for 3.5 months. 3 months. They had so many opportunities to run away with this division, and this is what they are. This is what they are. There's really no even reason to be upset. You know what I mean? Because this is what they are.
I know. I kind of, you know, all year I've been saying, you know, talk to me, you know, in July at the All-Star break and, you know, at the trade deadline, but you know, I got invested because they're playing well. They were playing well, you know, and some guys were producing. You thought, okay, maybe they might contend for a wild card. And then, you know, hey, expectations change. And now it's swinging the other way. And it's no longer, you know, a 162 game season. That narrative is gone. You know, this is, you went from first to almost last in a week. That's bad.
That beginning of that 9 games was the beginning of the end. At that point, they were hanging in there enough to where it was they'd stayed relevant. But there's no bouncing back from this. Again, these guys there's no life in this team. Watch this team. If you want to listen to this, guys, tonight they start a series, a 4-game series down in Miami against the Marlins. The Marlins coming in with a 42 and 33 record. So this is a team that's better than anything that we've been playing recently.
Let's just actually win this series. That's what would be funny.
The only ray of hope in this upcoming series is the fact that Mitch Keller is starting tonight.
He's our lone hope.
He's the lone hope. He's
Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's our only hope.
He has an 8-3 record, 3.62 ERA, and coming in with 108 Ks. Going up against Braxton Garrett. Braxton is 3-2 with the 3.88 and 77 Ks. He's a lefty, southpaw, so you're not going to see that production out of Sawinski tonight. He's going to continue to struggle. And whoever's behind the plate, they're going to struggle. Bay, he's been slumping for about a month now. Castro, where's he been? When was the last time you remember us talking about Castro in a positive way?
Never. I don't think we ever talked about him.
Certainly not this season.
Oh.
Carlos Santana, he might do okay, but he's they stink right now. They stink.
He like Santana, he is what he is at this point. There was no I did not have high expectations for him, nor Kutch, because they're older guys at the end of their career. When you're at their age in their stage of the career, your choices are the Pirates or you go play over in Japan or Korea. So, they chose wisely, get that major league paycheck. So I wasn't expecting a whole lot out of them. So whatever they're giving us, I'm happy. I'm not going to really criticize those guys.
So let's say
same thing with like Dick Mountain. My God, the guy's like 90 years old out there sucking oxygen. He is what he is at this point. But everyone else on this
Dick Mountain's probably the only one that looks like he's trying. I mean, he also looks like he's dying. He looks like he's trying. He went 5 2/3 yesterday. Gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. I mean, for an old guy that throws the ball over the plate at 40 miles an hour, that's not too bad.
Once again, our starting pitcher gives up 3 runs and we lose.
Mike, we had 2 hits yesterday.
2 goddamn hits
in the finale of the 9-game series where you're getting your asses kicked night after night after night after night. The finale was 2 hits. This is what they come up with: 2 hits. They actually scored more runs than they had hits. 8-3, they lost. Unbelievable.
That's Bucko baseball.
This is the Buccos that we all grown to know and love, I guess.
Yes,
say, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Again, the series against Miami starts today at 6:40, which I just love this too. These games, they got them on so early now. The games are over by 9:00.
The game's over by the 3rd inning with the Buccos.
I like the way sports are in Pittsburgh. You start a game at 7, it's over at 10. It goes into your night. In the night kind of. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
games are.
I like the early games because they're over and done with.
You like the early games, so
I like the early game. Yeah, because I work weird hours, so they work well for me, and everything should be about Mike.
Yep, that's true.
Everything's all about Big Sexy.
But I can't even talk about these guys anymore. Let's move on, please.
Let's move on to something fun and exciting.
It's just embarrassing.
You know what's
because we got excited and we talked these guys up and we had their back, and the least they could do is do something.
They do need to start bunting, P. Maybe that will work for them. They need something to make contact.
And I'm not even saying, dude, just don't embarrass everybody. They're embarrassing. 1 for 76,
and they don't care. None of them are showing any emotion.
Somebody heads should be rolling somewhere.
Like
whether it be the hitting coach,
exactly. Yeah,
somebody head should be. Listen, the Meteor lineup goes 1 for 76 with a .013 average. I've never heard of this ever. How bad is this team?
That's historically bad, even for these Buccos, man.
It's embarrassing.
Well, it's great. It's great.
Let's skate across town.
Yes.
Big news. Tom Barrasso, everybody. Tom Barrasso. Tommy B, the guy that I grew up watching, the guy that was winning Stanley Cups when I was a kid. Tommy B, number 35.
One of the most underrated goalies in NHL history. This is long overdue.
Going into the Hall of Fame 30 years later, 2023, class of 2023, Hall of Fame, Tom Barrasso.
He sits 21st all time in career wins.
I like Tom. I like, when people always said he has a shitty attitude, like people,
no, he is an asshole.
Really?
Oh yeah. They're not exaggerated stories. Yeah, he is an asshole, but he's our asshole who won us 2 Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
And he was that. I loved him. He was a goalie who was not afraid to mix it up. If you got into his crease, you were getting the back of your knees whacked with that big ass goalie stick. He was a fiery competitor. He
was the first. Here's the thing. It fell into the age like whenever I really started getting into sports. Pretty heavily. So he was the first major success in my life as far as a Pittsburgh athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And winning championships, and just as far as being a successful goalie for the Penguins. mind you, like yourself, I just, I might have been still shitting myself when the Steelers were winning their last Super Bowl and the Pirates were winning their last World Series. I was alive, but when it actually came to me being able to witness championships being had by Pittsburgh teams, the Penguins was that team for me.
Yeah.
And Tom Barrasso was the goalie on that team. So I mean, in my mind, he's always going to be on that pedestal because this is all that I, my first memories of great Pittsburgh sports teams.
Mine too.
Of course, you've heard the other guys and the other teams and how great the Steel Curtain was, and we are family with the Pirates. But as far as sitting down with my dad and watching these games, it was the Tom Barrasso and Mario Lemieux and Yarmer Yager.
Yep.
The Pirates were
all the greats
just falling out of being good. The Steelers were just getting back into being good. So, like I said, the Penguins were the team.
They were, yeah. And I tell you what, Tom Barrasso, 18-year-old as a goalie, he won the Calder and the Vezina. That's Rookie of the Year and the best goalie. That is insane. This is how good he was. He came in as an 18-year-old and won, the Rookie of the Year and the best goalie of the year.
Up in Buffalo, if I'm not
mistaken. Up in Buffalo, yes. And my God, huge. Everyone in Pittsburgh, they just remember him for that goal against the Islanders in 93. But that wasn't on him. People want to paint that series on him, gave up that goal. It was a bad goal, but come on now. They should have won that series, and that's not on him. But without him, they don't win those first two Stanley Cups. Dude was rock solid, game in, game out. And in that era, hockey was wide open. You're scoring 4 or 5, 6 goals a game, both teams. Now, if you play the way they did in the 80s, you're not going to last long in the NHL. But
the other name that I'm seeing that got passed over, Sergei Gonchar. He was eligible. He got passed over for the Hall of Fame this year. I'm sure he's going to get in at some point.
I hope he does. He was a
you figure he's been on the team that at least only 10 years ago. This guy Barrasso, it's been over 30 years.
Yeah,
talk about being overdue.
Yeah, Gonchar, my God, every team he was on, it was just great.
He'll get it.
He was, oh yeah, my God, watching him run a power play, oh, my nipples are hard just thinking about it.
Well, here's something that should get your nipples hard too. The Penguins will have 6 selections, Mike. 6 selections in this year's draft.
First, a third.
Does that excite you? Derpy,
Yeah.
you get excited. Let Mike answer first, but just think about the question for a minute. Does drafts in any sport besides football really excite you? The baseball I'm talking about, the hockey, not even
NBA's tonight.
It's the top 10 in the NBA.
Yeah, see, I'm not even
NFL
going to the NBA
draft-
because the NBA is different.
Yeah, the NHL or NFL 1 through 7 excites me.
Let's go to the 3
basketball, 1
sports
through
that
10.
Pittsburgh have. Let's do the football, the baseball, and the hockey. Do the
Football.
baseball and the hockey even? Is anything about those drafts exciting to you guys?
No.
Because especially
It
where
would
the
take
Penguins,
forever.
yeah, exactly. Because the guys, the Penguins were going to draft in the first round. If they make the NHL, it's going to be 3, 4, 5 years. down the
Right.
line.
You forget these guys. You don't even know who they are when they come back.
Unless you're picking top 5, maybe top 10, these kids are not going to be here anytime soon.
That's why the NFL's special. The NFL's special.
Because they're plug and play. You're right there. Year 1, year 2, year 3 at the worst. You're contributing. So yeah.
Maybe the top guy in baseball, you kind of get happy about whoever that is because he's an amazing
But even
player.
then, if you draft a high schooler, you're still 5, 6 years away for him.
Right.
Especially if he gets drafted by the Pirates, you're not going to see him until he's 25.
I couldn't agree with you more. Peace saying it's the baseball is the worst. They're so hard to get it. At least with football, you watch these kids in college. College is a big thing in college, and they make a name for themselves. So you're watching these running backs and quarterbacks, and you want to get them on your team. And that's not the case with baseball. That's not the case with hockey. You kind of just hope the guy that your team gets is good enough to be on the team soon, and they could make some kind of an impact.
Yeah, because we like when Crosby was coming out, he was being talked about for 3, 4 years before.
Right.
He was like how LeBron was in high school. Same thing with like Connor McDavid. At least you have some buildup of who's coming through baseball. You don't really hear the guy until 6 months before the draft of, this guy's is going to be the one.
And it's like, thanks for telling me that they're the best player. I have no way. You could tell me anything. We could be, picking 32 out of 32, and you could tell me this is the best guy, and I'll believe you because I don't know. How are you supposed to know?
I don't know. Like hockey, you can watch and figure out who's going to be. Yeah, I'd rather the MLS draft. That might actually be more entertaining. But no, like like NBA, like okay, you know who these guys are. You've seen them play in college. Same thing with like you were saying in football.
Again,
Like
basketball
baseball,
and football
hockey.
are comparable as far as the draft
Yeah.
goes. People will
For-
thoroughly get into the NBA draft.
Yeah, for me, NBA after anything after the top 10, I don't care about. Give me the top 10. After that, I'm done.
But again, you watch these guys in because college sports is so big in basketball with the March Madness and bowl season in football.
Yeah,
that's not the case. I mean, yeah, you could turn on and watch a college baseball game or a college hockey game, but for one, you're going to be bored out of your mind. For two, the coverage is nothing like it is with the other two sports.
Yeah,
I think it's night and day. If if we had an NBA team in basketball, I would be more into it. But the fact that I understand that people are really getting this. These guys that come out of college are amazing athletes, and you want them on your team, and you know about them, and you know the story. Baseball, hockey, they lack.
They're very niche,
far behind in this category.
Like we're minor league or college baseball is a niche sport to watch. Hockey, my God, you have to be committed to watching the the Western Hockey League, the Ontario Hockey League, the Quebec League, all these junior levels, and then you have to watch all the leagues in Europe. So it's very niche. You have to be an uber nerd of the sport to watch those. I love hockey, but I'm not going to watch minor league hockey. I'm not going to watch, the teenagers play hockey. I'd rather watch them play football, which is weird. It's the same goddamn principle, but it's easier to train to identify a football player who's going to translate to the next level than hockey.
And the way that it's so perfectly laid out too. Think of the March Madness.
Mm-hmm.
For leading up to, you have the conferences and the conference championships, then the March Madness, and about every player because you're watching these games and it's constantly bang bang and this guy, and then a month later they draft. It's very, very easy to very, very simple to get pulled into something like that. Baseball and hockey that they just before we go, we do got to wrap up soon. A couple of things I did want to mention, Mike Derpy, over in the USFL. We did mention yesterday the Pittsburgh Maulers. They do have 5. They have 5 all-pro. I guess they would call it all USFL players. This is the number by teams. The Pittsburgh Maulers have 5, which is the most. Nobody has more than 5 all USFL players. More than the Maulers. They have 5. Tied with the Maulers is New Jersey, who we just beat. Second, with 4 all USFL players, is Birmingham. In Houston, they both have 4. Philadelphia and Nashville, they have 3 apiece. And in New Orleans and Michigan, which is the 2 teams that us and Birmingham play this week, they both have 2. They both have 2 all USFL team players. So that's kind of an encouraging thing, especially going into the playoffs, knowing that these teams only have 2 all pros. And we have 5.
I think that bodes well for us.
Absolutely.
We of course all 5 are on defense and special teams. So
yeah, but that's been our strength. No surprise.
Yeah, that's our strength. I would like 1 or 2 mixed in on offense. Would have been nice, but yeah. Let's go Maulers, baby.
You figure though, Henny's, these other guys, they're receivers. Henny's a receiver. I mean, he is in there for the punt returns, but
he's a pretty good receiver.
Very skilled. Also, finally, the XFL and the USFL finish in a dead heat.
I saw that. Yeah,
just over 600,000 average viewers per game for each league.
It's not bad. Not bad for a spring football league.
No.
Yeah.
And give it time. People want to make sure this is even going to be a thing before they even invest their time into it. They want to go, they'll give it a year or 2. They want to see if it fails, because you've seen the XFL start and stop 2 different times prior to this.
Yeah.
The XFL and the USFL is another one. It never really took off. So people want to make sure that they're not complete failures before they invest any of their time and watch these leagues. So I think at this point, after this season being in a dead tie, that tells me that people want it. At least this over 500,000 people, they want it. But I think this number starts to go up a little bit more every year, considering we don't have any more crazy COVIDs, considering we don't have, anything crazy that's happened in the past. I think these 2 leagues are going to get a little bit better each year. And especially because you're seeing the connection now, the pipeline, in a sense, with a lot of these players, they're ending up on NFL teams. And I think people are going to be interested in that. And the Hakeem, whatever his name is, the guy that we got from St. Louis. There's
Hakeem
guys that
Miller.
you're interested to see how they do in the NFL that come out of these leagues. So I
Yeah.
mean, that makes it, I think, even more lucrative because there's that connection.
Yeah, because they XFL has the partnership with the NFL as well.
Yeah.
So, that helps them in the USFL. I was surprised how well they did, right? With number wise, because you're looking at some of the stadiums, especially when the games the Maulers played. There weren't a lot of people there, but apparently everyone's sitting at home watching them. It's just where they're located. So
Yeah.
a lot of teams were playing in Canton, so okay, I'm not going to make the drive up there. I don't think people from New Jersey are going to make the drive up there to watch their home team playing Canton, but they can at least sit home and watch them. And the numbers are showing, man. People want it. People want football. There's a reason why football is the number one sport in America.
Oh, absolutely. P says the CFL is still waiting for its big breakthrough. I was so close to turning on some CFL the other day. I was just telling Mike about the schedule of the CFL, which could take that elapsed time between the end of the USFL season and the beginning of the NFL season, and you could have football all year round, which I think is the most amazing thing ever. But they're still waiting for that big breakthrough. And the one thing, as Mike was saying, I do want to make a point, is that I think the XFL has a huge advantage in the sense that they do play in their own natural city, opposed to the USFL with their hubs. Yes, Canton is close enough to Pittsburgh, but you got teams from New Jersey coming all the way over to Canton. And things like that. So I think once they could maybe make that situation a little bit better, you get that hometown support the way that the Houston fans really supported our team in the XFL. And with the beer snake, you got to be able to get in the stadium. And right now we're one of the only people that talk about this. You're not hearing USFL news everywhere. You're not hearing. So, it's going to take a little bit longer and a few things each way. But like I said, they got to start getting these guys playing in their city. There might be guys on these teams that never even been in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
If you think about it, a Pittsburgh player never even been in Pittsburgh. So, those kind of things there, you need that connection with your fans.
Yep,
so
exactly.
Mike, why don't you tell everybody about the website?
TwoDumbYinzers.com. Everything you need for us is there. Links to every platform where you can find us is all available at twodumbYinzers.com, and the merchandise. So remember, buy your Bob Nothing merch, baby.
Derpy, are you
Yes.
alive?
Yes,
all right,
man.
So today you're in luck. It's not a Cubs. It's not a Cubs trivia.
Good.
Derpy was
maybe you learned a lesson from the series.
Yeah. Karma at its best. Derpy is celebrating the karma that's went on here. This question is going to be a Florida Marlins question. Miami Marlins, I guess you call them, right?
Right.
All right. Here we go. You ready, Mike?
I am ready.
All right. What year did the Marlins go from last place in the NL East after 38 games to winning the World Series? I'm looking for a calendar year. This isn't really easy, but you know what? As far as the Marlin questions there weren't any of those real gimmies, to be honest with you. Yeah. So let's see what we could do here. What year did the? Well, you know what? I don't know why yet. Just hold off on that. What year did the Marlins go from last place in the NL East after 38 games to winning the World Series? Again, this is a calendar year I'm looking for this answer, and I'll give you a little hint. It's a 2000 year. It's not anything 1990, nothing or not like that. So, if you want to just go ahead and think that over for a minute, we are live all week long, 7 days a week, because we are on our summer schedule, Monday through Sunday, every day, 11:30 a.m. We are live. Check us out right here. And the show that we do live every day gets uploaded at 8 o'clock in the evening over on Spotify in podcast form. So if you just want to listen to the show as a podcast, you go over to Spotify at 8 o'clock every day and check out the new show of the day. So there you have it. Guys, here we go. P, I just want to say, P, to update P on the board, it's a 2000 year. So if you want to put that in consideration, maybe you can send your answer back over. And then we'll go on. Mike, Derpy, P, here we go. What year did the Marlins go from last place in the NL East after 38 games to winning the World Series? Same year, 38 games, last place. They win the World Series that same year. I'm going to start with Derpy. Derpy, what do you think? I'd imagine you would have still been a young man. Maybe that'll help you out a little bit.
Should be like it wasn't 01. It was not 01. I'm gonna go 03.
2003. Good pick.
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
All right. So Derpy's on an 03.
No. I take that back. Son of a gun.
Oh no, go ahead. What do you want?
That's a toughie. Actually. I'm gonna go 2000. 2000.
2000.
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
All right. So Derpy's locked in on a 2000. P on the board says 2007. I'll lock him in. Mike, comes down to you. You're the last one, my brother. Derpy says the year 2000. P says 2007. I'm looking for the year that the Marlins started. They were in last place 38 games into the season. They end up winning the World Series that year. What year do you think it was?
2003.
What was that?
2003.
03. Is that your final answer?
Oh, yep. Final answer.
All right. Lock Mike in on
It was 03. Watch it. Yeah, it was
2003. All right. So here we go. Question of the day, everybody. This is a Florida Marlins question. I'm never going to get over calling them Florida Marlins.
It was
so no need to correct me when I do.
That's my life.
The Miami Marlins, we do start playing them today. The question of the day is this: what year did the Marlins go from last place in the NL East after 38 games to winning the World Series? P says 07. Derpy says 2000. Mike says 03. The answer is 2003, everybody. 2003. I think
just stuck with my gut. Oh, well.
Was that Dontrello Willis year? Was that, remember Dontrello Willis, the pitcher?
Could have been.
I recall that he was very dominant at some point in the early 2000s. I can imagine that was probably the year that was.
I just remember the Red Sox winning the next year.
The Red Sox, they went in 06 and 08, didn't they? Or 04?
Yeah, that was the first time in a long time. Because I think the Marlins lost to the Yankees, and then the Yankees
04
the
and
Red
06,
Sox that
the
year.
Red Sox won, maybe. That sound right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? Who cares, right?
Yeah, it's history now.
Mike, anything before we take off?
Let's go Bucks. I'm reading a lot of memes that people might not find funny right now, but I think they're hysterical. So
we won't talk about them
right now. Ain't gonna talk about that right now.
Derpy, what do you got, Bucks, man?
Don't spend $250K on a submarine adventure.
Oh, you guys are killing me.
Derpy, I tried not to get us in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's just spending $250K. Come on.
You guys are two peas in a pod over there.
Right? Fist bump.
But also go Bucks.
Yes. P on the board, left-handed madman on the mound. Absolutely
yes,
right. That's who I'm picturing as well. He was a beast.
I hated playing against him.
What do I have? Before we go? What I have is this: the debut of the City Connect jerseys is going to be Tuesday, June 27th. So we'll be expecting them next week. And finally, 80. There's only 80 days till the Pittsburgh Steelers kick off against the San Francisco 49ers to kick off the NFL football season. 80, Mike, Plexico Burris, number 80.
Plexico Burris, baby.
There we go. We want to thank everybody for checking us out. We could hope that you continue to do so. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time. As for Derpy, Mike, myself, the two dumb yinzers, everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
See you.